Hello everybody. Let's get started with our programming from today on. Let's start with a really small project. That's a Hello World project. Uh, let's create a Java project for that. The package is always going to start with the lowercase. So the package is going to have one source folder for sure. So let's see. So this is the source folder where we're going to create our classes at. So let's create the class. Let's create the class. Hello world hello world class. So this is going to be in this package. Since it's a Java function, not function, but a Java class or Java project, so we have to have the static main void function in it or method in it because Java is only gonna recognize this method and it's gonna run this method only. So let's do it. So quickly, let's do hello world. The shortcut for system.println is you press on shift SYSOUT and then control space. It's gonna automatically put it. So now we can see like there is no problem with the project. We can save it and then let's run it. Run as Java application. It's gonna say hello world. So now the reason for this tutorial is not to show the hello world, but to get a little bit deeper into it. So let's start with the variables. So there are three kind of variables. First, variables are local variables. Local variables. The second variables are instance variable. Instance variables. The third variables are static variables. So as the name suggests, what exactly is the purpose of these variables? We can see what is the purpose of these variables. I spelled local wrong, but it's okay. I can fly with that. So, okay, what does exactly local means? So, local is usually defined in a block or a method or a constructor. So within a method is local. Is local. So for example, let's say if I were to say public void uh, give age, so give age. Now this is the method. Now whatever instance variable or the variables in this method is going to be local variable. Let's say 0. Now let's say if we were to system out this, system out age, it is, okay, now since we know that the only main method is going to be the method that's gonna run in Java. So we have to create an object of this class. Now we can call that specific method with that class. So now we can run this method and it's going to print 0. 0 is. So so this one is instance. These variables are local variables. local variables. They are in method. They are always in method. The scope of these is going to be within these block. The scope is within this block. So I think pretty much this is all for these kind of variables. Now let's switch to the other kind of variable that is which one? Let's say we take the instance variable. Okay, so the instance variable is everything that is defined in the class. Let's say over here, I say int my or number of cars that I own, let's say. So these are the instance variables. So these variables are usually in the class in instance variables. They in the class, not in the method. Okay. They are not inside the function like I just told you, and they are always in the class. So for us to to invoke this specific what do you call it specific variable, we still have to create the object just the way we created the object over here. Uh, but over here we can, so this is how we can uh, so for us to invoke the instance variable, so we can do obj, which is an object, dot number of cars. And since number of cars is nothing, so we can say, we can give any number to it, and let's say 90. So this is how we can invoke these instance variables as well. So pretty much these instance variable can be in different class too. For example, let's say there could be another class, public class hello, hello second. So this could be another class as well. This is not a method, this is a class. Okay, so it says it has to be another file. So we can take this to another file. Hello second. Now we can have over here we can have let's say int marks is equals to 90. Let's say this is marks is equals to 90. Now we want to we want to play around with this variable, which is an instance variable. We can do that too. Again, we have to create the object of that specific class. Okay, now hello is going to invoke the marks. So this is how we can do this is how we can call the instance variable of the other classes as well. But over in this, we have to give some kind of value to it. Now it's going to be given in a value. In case if we do not want to give a value, then so this is how it does not require, we don't have to assign it any value. Now it's going to print it out. But since if we want to assign any value to it, we can assign the value and it will override the initial value. So let's run it just to see it. 90. So we are pretty good. If we print it after this line, it's going to print 100. So here we go. So it overrides the value. Okay, so the another one that I would want to share with you guys is, which is the third one what we were talking about? That is static. Oh yes. So the static one are, let's say, so static one are the static which will not change, and for the static variables, we do not have to create the object of that specific class. For example, let me show you. So let's say this is the static size of fish. Let's say the static size of fish is whatever. We're gonna decide that later. No worries. We don't have to really decide it right now, but it has to be in some kind of it has to be either int, double, or anything of any data type. So the second one is public static. Let's we're gonna have some kind of name to it. Name. Let's give it a name is J. J is the name. So now since these are static variables and they are instance variables too, now we're gonna call these variables in our main method. So like I said, for us to call the static variables, we don't have to create the uh, create object of this specific class. So what we can do is we can just call them with the class name dot size of fish, and we can say, let's say, what's the size of fish? Let's say 30. 30 is the size of fish. And similarly, it's a, let's say if we want to sys out the this is the name given in the class. So what is the name given in the class? Hello second dot, and this is the name that is given in the class. Now it has to print the name, and it will also print, let's also print the size, and the size of fish is what size of fish is. Size of fish is hello second dot size of fish. Now we will see both things being output. Let's save it and run it. So the name is given in the class is J and the size of the fish is 30. So we can see the stuff did happen, and this is all about local variables, static variables, and instance variables. See you guys in the next tutorial, which is about uh, modifiers. We're going to talk about modifiers.